Hey you guys, it's Jason from the RC Cave. Thanks for watching. In this video, I'm going to tell you about an upgrade I've done to my Trail Finder 2, installing the Teraflex Revolver Shackles and Z-Boxes from RC4WD. Now if you don't subscribe to my channel, be sure to check out the build overview I've got of this kit. It's a great kit, really liked it, but one thing I wasn't totally happy with was the articulation and travel I was getting out of the stock suspension. Now, in this video, I'm going to give you a little bit of information and I'm going to try to get you some before and after shots so you can decide if this upgrade is right for you. Now, before we get started, one thing you should know is if you're familiar with the shooter shackles and T-boxes from RC4WD, these new products are exactly the same. I emailed RC4WD support and Tom got back to me to let me know that the only difference is in the branding, so those are exactly the same. Another thing, RC4WD says on their website that the Z-boxes can only be installed on the rear and that they don't fit the front. Now, after playing around with them a little bit, I found that the Z-boxes actually can be installed on the front, but what you have to do is flip them around so the logo goes in, which is the opposite of the normal installation, but they will fit on the front. Whether you should do that is a totally different story, but you can do that if you want to. So let me bring you a little bit closer and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that. The installation of the Revolver Shackles and Z-boxes is pretty straightforward. You don't get any instructions in the package, but you don't really need any. You need to remove the stock shackles and use the included hardware and they bolt right on. The only adjustment I made in the rear is that I moved the shocks to the outermost hole to give me just a touch more suspension travel. Now you notice in the rear, the label side is facing out. That's how the photos on RC4WD's website is, so that's how they're supposed to be installed. Now on the front, the installation is just a little bit more complicated because you need to remove the transmission in order for them to fit in there. Now the first time I did it, I didn't realize this, but I installed them label side facing out, just like I saw the photos on the website of the rear at least, and the transmission wouldn't go back in. So if you look at the transmission, you're only getting like a quarter of an inch, or not even that, an eighth of an inch, or a few millimeters of space between the transmission and the frame. That's the reason why RC4WD says that these Z-boxes only fit the rear. But I found I have them on there, they do fit, you just have to flip them around so the label is on the inside and this hardware is sticking out on the outside. Now, it looks to me like the geometry of the leaf springs hasn't been changed. It looks to me like it'll work fine like that. But so you know, RC4WD says they only fit the rear. But if you want to, you can install them on the front, I think, without any problems. The only thing to keep in mind is if you're running the stock shocks like I am, I'm not sure you'll actually be able to take advantage of much of the extra articulation that these Z-boxes give you with these stock shocks. I don't think they're long enough to really take advantage of that articulation. And the other thing is, having too much articulation on the front, you might make the vehicle more likely to flip over if you're on an incline. So, you know, there are some questions about whether you should have these on the front. But if you want to have them on the front, yeah, they'll fit, no problem. Just flip them around. You can see the articulation and the suspension travel is nice and smooth. I'm getting quite a bit more travel than with the stock setup, and the big improvement is just how smooth it is. The stock shackles tended to stick a little bit. And here's a look at the Z-boxes on the back. You can see the articulation that they add as I lift the rear tire. It's quite a difference over the stock setup. Here's a few before and after shots to give you an idea of the difference in articulation that I'm getting. Now with the stock setup, the leaf springs don't give you all that much flex, but once you install these Revolver Shackles and Z-boxes, the difference is pretty huge. I would say I'm easily getting over 2.5 inches up front and 3.5 inches in the rear. So for me, this upgrade is totally worthwhile. If you have a scale rig from RC4WD, you might want to check out their Revolver Shackles and Z-boxes. I think they're worthwhile. Alright you guys, thanks for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe and hit that thumbs up button. Alright, I'll see you next time.